Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Enjoying your weekend? It was a great weather today. Yeah, I went out too. I went to watch a movie and have lunch. It's been a long time that I've gone out with my wife on a lunch date. Yeah, left the kids at home to be supervised by my, of course, family. But it was cool. It was cool. But now I'm back to work on a Sunday, as usual. Things are not always the same when you're a teacher. When you're a student, you have the complaints and you're like, blah, 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 my life sucks. The majority of a lot of you share funny jokes about being drunk all the time. I'm concerned for all of you. You shouldn't be talking about drinking away your sadness and your misery because you really don't have that much. You got a lot to be grateful about. But I don't want to sound like your father or grandfather. But life's good, yo. Taking the friends and the people around you who do good for you and good karma. Anyways, this is not a radio show. This is about web marketing, and today we'll talk about social media marketing. I'm leaving out email marketing because I won't be really teaching that in class. And the reason for that is you can simply use MailChimp, and it has a lot of what you call it tutorials in MailChimp that explains what email marketing is. So it becomes redundant. But that won't be my focus because it becomes too much work if I have to ask you guys to do also email marketing. But most of this can be accomplished by social media, and which we're already doing right now. So the idea of social media, these are basically digital tools, or sometimes even use the word venue that allows for interaction socially. That's it. And but when we say social interaction, what's important for marketing? Brands nowadays have to join the social conversation. On social media, it's a little more easier to listen to your customers. And if you did the four P's of marketing, you know the four P's of marketing are obsolete. The word promotion is substituted by the four C's of marketing, which is communication. And what is a social network? Therefore, these are social structures of individuals or organizations. And if you study principles of marketing, there's also something called social classes and social norms. And a social network, it doesn't have to be online. It can also be around you. For example, when your mother talks to the neighbor's mom, and it's like a housewives or talking to each other. I don't mean to say that your mothers may not be, maybe a working woman too, but that used to be the old network, where where women would talk to each other. Well, what's the best detergent to use? What's the best, I would say, homemade cure for your children when they have a cough or cold? That was a social network too. But now we have social media platforms and networks as well. They utilize internet technologies and allow for people to create their own groups online for interaction of certain conversation revolving around a certain subject. But do realize some are social networks and some are platforms. Platforms are a little more enhanced than regular social network. Let's take, for example, Snapchat or Instagram, or at one point they were very normalized social platform where you just share information or share pictures, but social platforms go a step further, allow you to do shopping. They allow you to create more content than you would consider yourself be able to do. And it allows even marketers to connect and get information and data that wasn't first, I would say, possible with the advent of social platform. It becomes much more different. You can book or download applications or even download video games from social media platforms. So that's the difference. But I don't want to dwell on the definitions. So what is the difference between online and offline? The traditional marketing goal was simply a message that you pushed on to your audience, and that was what we call promotional messages, like advertisement on television, advertisement in magazines, or even salespeople in a shop where they try to get your attention, or when salespeople come knocking on your door or on your telephone. That was still a push message. Whereas the social marketing goals online is to not just deliver the message to the audience, but to the right audience, to a targeted audience. And they, when they show their interest, they will, let's say, like your post, save your page, or some way come back for a conversation. So it encourages the consumers to become fans and well as open up new topics. It also improves the brand's equity. The brand equity is very important over here because it's led by conversation about the brand. Good or bad doesn't matter. So it strengthens the brand by increasing share of online conversation. What are people talking about online the most? Anywho, if this is old information, okay, well, I don't have the latest one. I apologize. Making slides is not my forte. But if you notice, how many people are online? Social media penetration by region. And please do understand that social media, there are different forms of them. For example, LinkedIn is also a social network, but it's mainly geared towards professional topics or professionalism like consulting, middle management related issues, entry level jobs, finding a job, how to become a better leader, and so on and so forth. Whereas Instagram is more about sharing moments, and it's not as private as you would think it would be. But private conversation can take place on Snapchat, where information also disappears. So every platform has its own target audience. For example, you can compare South Koreans using Naver with Russians using VK, with Chinese people using WeChat. So once again, targeted audience. Once again, if you notice the amount of active users on different platforms, please understand there's a difference between going for a mass market and going for a niche. And I would urge, even though you say, hey, no one's on Facebook, don't make that mistaken assumption. If you make an assumption, remember the word assume is making an ass of you and me. There's a report stating the majority of people on Facebook are the highest buyers, or they're the ones that interact most with an ad and shop through Facebook compared to Instagram. Instagram is still very low because the people are younger. They're more, I would say, controlled about their spending, and they don't give into social media posts that easy. Whereas on Facebook, people are older and well settled, and they think making a purchase decision is a little more impulsive on Facebook because they trust the network. Ironic, isn't it? It's a report. So, but then comes back to Snapchat, where people spend money on places like Fortnite gaming from their parents to get pocket money, and they share their information or their pictures or moments on rather than Snapchat. So every demographic or psychographic you can pick up on different platforms lead to a different type of persona and how you need to target them. For example, even they say Apple iPhone users are more impulsive buyers than Android users on apps. Well, that's information you can live without. Okay. Anywho, moving ahead. So, what are the reasons to get onto social media? Well, number one is you have more engagement with customers. And we use the word deeper engagement is that you can create social media posts, social media questions. You can share media in terms of audio, video, and also images that could spark a response from your audience. Number two, you can also get insights or statistical information not previously available in any other way, and people won't reveal that. For example, I've shown you in class as well that if you get more than 100 likes or close to 100 likes, the demographic option on Facebook opens up called people or persons. And that reveals your demographic information, such as what are the ages of people, what are the genders who are coming to your, uh, what's the population and gender the division, what is the population age division, what cities they're coming from, what languages do they speak. This is, of course, a gold mine for people who want to target the audience in terms of region and language as well, and maybe even gender related issues. So, and also notice that your customers are already online. Most of us do our shopping and browsing and investigation online. So this, without saying, if a customer is happy with your services and products, they will provide feedback if you ask them, how are you liking my product? For example, rating apps online. But I started using a product, it is apple cider vinegar. Okay, but it was in form of gummy bears, and I was really surprised how they responded to every comment on their post. And that was the reason I actually bought it because I said, okay, these guys are highly engaged with their customers, and most of the customers are very happy, and therefore I bought it. I'm very happy with the product, and I did provide feedback to them as well, and feedback in terms of how it boosts my health, made me less tired, and can I give it to my children, etc., etc. So by providing feedback, they are able to create better products and services. And when they create better product and services, other people who are invested in their idea as like bloggers, YouTubers, or even commentators, they evangelize that product. By evangelizing, I mean they would try to market it to people. I do the same. Someone, my brother asked me, my sister asked me, and I said, buy this product. It is amazing. I was evangelizing them, so it's in a way free marketing. And that will lead to more customers. And my brother did end up buying and say, "Oh, I've heard of that product. I'm going to buy this." In fact, I think he bought 3 bottles of them, one for himself, one for his wife, and one for, a rainy day whenever they need it. I'm pretty sure some of us do the same. Hey, check out this product online. Check out this YouTuber online. Check out this shoes, these services. We evangelize all the time, but now online, it's a little more easier to capture data and also disseminate information through, I would say, towards a targeted audience. Moving ahead. You guys like my singing voice? I would have sang you a song. Let me see if I can sing you that song. Oh shit! Oh my God. What do you guys want to hear? Okay. No, you guys don't want to hear a song? Perfect. I'm not singing anyways. I got a bad singing voice. La, 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 la. All right. What are the reasons for social media marketing? Number one, engaging our fans. Remember, as I told you before, there's a concept called permission marketing created by Seth Godin. And when I say his name, I would like it if you go read his books. They're amazing to help you start off your own career in marketing or your own product or a brand that you can sell online. And when you sell online, you can, first of all, you have to realize maybe the concept is not out there yet. Your product is not in the market, but you can start to, I would say, gather people around the topic, like through crowdfunding. So when people are engaged, they want to sign up for your program. And when they sign up for it, they would like to receive information. They say, I am interested in being your customer. Send me more information. That is the starting part of engagement. You can also increase your brand exposure on different social media platforms because remember, there's targeted audience everywhere. It can be also an avenue for customer interaction, how they like something, dislike something, how they criticize it. It can increase traffic towards your website and application. It can help you generate leads. Leads are before the sale actually happens. Okay, so if people become interested, they might put their the product on their shopping list. Oh, sorry, the wish list. If they're further interested and show deeper interest, they might put it in their shopping cart, but they might not buy. But that's still a lead generation. It also improves your brand image. You can do some real good PR on social media. Just look at Barack Obama. He used YouTube and Twitter and as well as other social media platforms to reach out to voters, and it got him the presidency twice. There was a joke I read somewhere. It was like, I miss you like I miss Obama every damn day. It can also help you improve your search rankings. This is ironic. Search engines like Google do also get to your website and see if you have any social media, I would say outlets. Are you on Instagram? Are you on Facebook? Are you on YouTube or LinkedIn? So on and so forth. And that causes what we call link authority and I would say your search ranking to improve. So that's why when I told you to make your blog, also be on social media sites. Maybe you might show up somewhere. It can also help gather information on customers, like I told you before. We've already saw that in the analytical information, and you'll dive deeper into it when you'll do the presentation, and you'll tell me about every marketing campaign you've done, what sort of information you've picked up, and how you correlated it back to the demographical information you picked up from the consumers. Remember, marketing campaigns, usually the reaction you get are psychographic in nature and behavioral, but demographic, you already have it. So we try to find out what are the people's attitudes, interests, opinions regarding your marketing campaign. You can also help you develop loyalty with core fans, and core fans will become your evangelist. And at the end of the day, you want profit and you want to improve your sales against the competition, and social media can do that for you. Social listening. Okay, this is not like Spotify or Deezer. Okay, that's not what we're talking about over here. The most difficult thing to do is to respond to criticism positively. I just found out there's an article stating that if you write a negative review on Yelp, you can get sued. It's like, whoa, which is true. If you write a negative review and it's, you know, uh, pumped up with false accusations, then maybe I think they have the right to sue you for that. However, there's also this course I saw online once is how to handle a PR disaster online or how to manage your social media presence. PR at the end of the day is public relations. You want to do damage control, you'll always receive negative feedback and you have to respond positively to it. Remember, you're a business, and as a business, even as an entity of a business, you have to take everything with a grain of salt and you have to improve your standings with the customers. You can also help you find problems with your product and services by listening to the customer. And it can help you also gather, content for branding. A lot of people do this right now. Halloween is coming up. You'll see a lot of Facebook pages and your branding, I would say on Instagram and Snapchat and all turn into something spooky with pumpkins and bats flying around. And that's a great way of starting off. They always have topics to talk about. Holidays is one way, some new product or movie coming out, you can talk about that. There's always things to talk about. So, stay ahead with the news and what's trending. That's also helps you predict future trends. For example, if Halloween is coming up, what do you think people would buy? Well, they'll buy costumes, candies, they'll throw parties, they'll buy alcohol maybe, um, and they'll buy decorations. So this is one simple way of stating that, okay, there's a trend that's coming up. But how are people sharing that information? When they're taking pictures, are they sharing it on Facebook, Instagram, or Snapchat? And if they are, what sort of hashtags are they putting up? So you can follow those hashtags and it can enable you to once again be at the forefront of the public trend. It can also help you detect patterns or shift in people's views. Remember, uh, I'm not very active on Instagram because not just because of my age, because I just don't find any sort of uh, interest in that platform. You people do. You're young, and of course, it suits your interest. I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. It's just about interest and life cycle stage. So you share majority of your information on Instagram, but you don't share it via newsfeed. You share it via stories because stories disappear, and you find that is a little more interesting than Snapchat stories. I don't know the reason behind it, but you're not on Facebook. On Facebook, you don't share that much. You might just share an article, a simple message, or a joke, but nothing more than that. You hardly see pictures or even videos about yourself. The reason is because maybe other family members or older people are there, so you're reluctant to share it. And finally, you can also find people who can become your brand ambassador and advocates and evangelists. So you can identify those people because they might be reaching out to you as well. And you can see how many followers they have and how much engagement they can create. It's a great way to do that, okay? Organically or paid wise, doesn't matter. Next. Woohoo. How do we build a social media presence? Well, even though I'm forcing you guys to create campaigns and blogs, that is truly one of the ways. We haven't really determined any sort of goal we're doing. All I'm trying to do is help you gather information first. But you must have some social media goals. Is it to increase brand exposure? Is it to communicate better with the audience? Is it to push out a new idea that would become successful in terms of sales? They are marketing goals at the same time, but social media has different avenues. If you're marketing yourself on Etsy, then you should also market yourself on Pinterest because majority of people who shop like on Etsy might view things on Pinterest as well. If you're selling geek items, then you might want to sell on Think Geek as well, and you want to be on those sort of platforms or social media platforms where people talk about these things. Okay, it can also help you determine what sort of online personality you want. Okay, by online personality is I'm not saying to become a comedian or become something totally geeky. For example, I've shown you videos from Louis Rossmann, who repairs a lot of computers. Okay, online he's very vocal. I would say he continuously speaks against Apple. However, he repairs a lot of Apple products. Okay, there's Linus Tech Tips, which I really like a lot. He's once again has a similar business in computing and digital tech. However, online I find him to be funny at the same time, very informative. So people have different personalities online. You can also decide on certain platforms that you want to be on and not be on. For example, when I joined Snapchat, it was a nightmare. Okay, I did not like what I saw, what my students were sharing. So after 1 month, I decided I no longer want to use Snapchat. In fact, I'm also stopped sharing a lot of information on Instagram. I do not like that platform in terms of my personality, but other people do. I should be there because they say, hey, professor, you should share more information. But I don't even follow back the people who follow me. I'm not that type of person. But once again, it's your goal as a business. You decide what to do. And finally, don't forget, you also develop social media strategies as to how to engage with your customer. And at the same time, when you're developing strategies, you need to create an idea or KPI that will help you enhance your marketing campaigns. So that's what we mean by develop an analytical feedback loop. You measure your KPIs weekly. I put out a weekly task for you guys because you have one semester with me, which is like total of 10 sessions. The first and last sessions don't really count for something, but within those 10 weeks, you'll notice your numbers fluctuating, or you'll notice your numbers going up, or sometimes even your numbers going down. I know some of you are had a lot of difficulty getting up to 100 likes on Facebook. Reason being, most of your friends probably are not on Facebook. But that's my goal. I want you to do it. And it's a struggle for a lot of people in the social media industry that they have to pump those numbers. But at the end of the day, it's not just the numbers of likes, it's also the engagement you create and the velocity at which people engage with you. Moving ahead. Okay, just going through this quickly. Please understand Google Plus has shut down. Yes, it's over for Google Plus. But there's social networking sites. Of course, you know about Facebook and LinkedIn. What's in it for us as marketers? Number one is advertising. Their whole goal is to use advertising as a mechanism to reach out to customers. We can create pages, or we can create, when we create a page, we're basically creating branded content. And this once again can help us find the people who would be, brand advocates, evangelists who can speak up for us as well. I'm not going to stick too much to here because you can Google this stuff as yourself, but there are many social media platforms. Pinterest and Reddit, I really don't understand Reddit. I'll be very honest. It's a very American thing, having a Reddit question and answer session or AMA, whatever it's called, a bulletin board filled with people responding in, I don't know, in a bulletin board format. It's very popular. Stumble Upon, I think, still survives. Okay. But what's in it for marketers? Once again, it's Pinterest and Reddit is really focused on loyal fans to the industry or to the product, and they really focus on sharing information with, it's like creating some sort of a community that's very engaged. They're like top level users, or even for a video game or for a novel, fantasy novel, they're very engaged with the content and they create buzz about it, and also it can amplify your exposure and traffic and online reputation. But you have to be careful. These people, if it becomes negative, they can really turn your business around and destroy you. Okay, so how you engage with, I would say, hardcore fans, it requires some sensitivity. Anywho. Then we have some discussion sites like Yahoo groups, and you must know about Yahoo Answers. There was Ask Jeeves. Then many other forums like this. Okay, Google Groups. I don't know how popular it is, but at one point, Google Plus itself was very popular with programmers. There's also like what do you call it? What was that called? Stack Overflow for programmers is very common for marketing, for what do you call it? Programming issues. So what's in it for marketers? It helps you get closer to your customer and what they talk about. It also you raise your profile, because some of these sites, they give you a profile and they give you points for replying positively. For example, if you heard of Quora, or Quora, Quora, it's about asking questions like you have in Ask Jeeves, and you register on the site, and the more positive responsive you give, or very intellectual responsive you give, your points increase. But if you talk negatively, I wouldn't say negatively as you say criticize them. You can criticize, but if you talk negatively or you insult someone, your profile's points go down, and you might get banned from the site. Okay, so over here you also nip the bad things in the bud. If someone is creating negativity, and you can address the issue very directly. And once again, it's for targeted traffic. It's a bit like those forums, but over here it's more accessible. Okay, once again, media sharing sites are too many to count on, but what's in it for marketers? Find out what turns your market on. Ooh, I like that word. The word market. And what turns your market on is how people respond to visual stimuli or audio stimuli. There's a word for that. It's called netnography, like internet, N-E-T, N-O-G-R-A-P-H-Y, netnography. And on in ethnography, we study, videography, which is basically how people respond to video. Well, I would say not just video, audio and visual cues online. So let's say why Instagram is popular, but because a picture speaks 1,000 words. Why is SoundCloud so popular? Once again, music moves you in different ways, and you can find your niche. So it is a ready-made vehicle for content distribution. The word vehicle is used a lot in integrated marketing communication, such as how we deliver a message to the audience through TV, through radio. So that's why we call it a vehicle. It's not a real vehicle like a car or a truck. Next, Yelp and Amazon. I did say, ask you, is Amazon a social media or not? In a way, it is. Okay, you can look at what people have commented, how they've reviewed things, and even somewhat, in a way, look at their shopping history, but not directly. It is aggregated. They show up with people who bought this item, also bought these products. Okay, so what's in it for marketing? Once again, advertising. You can host your products, services, and brands on a special part, or as a catalog on these pages, and it's also insight into what's good and what's bad. You can see comparisons, you can see ratings, and find out what people are commenting and how they're reviewing your product and services. And responding to that, for example, Amazon allows that. You can ask the supplier or the merchant certain questions about a product, and they reply to it. So it's like a Q&A, but it's built up on the spot. So it demonstrates good customer service. The more you respond to people's questions, the better rapport you're making with them. Next. Blogs. What's a blog? It actually stands for web logs. And what's a log? Logarithms. What people used to do when they were traveling by sea. They used to write captain's log. Or if you ever watched Star Trek, they always had captain's log, star date, blah, blah, blah. So we're using Blogger. Okay, WordPress, no, we're not using that. But Blogger is easy to set up, and you've done that in class with me. We've connected it to Google Analytics, and we will try to see the results. What's in it for marketers? Potentially massive exposure. So you write about topics with proper keywords, people will find you. It's also about consumer engagement. Okay, people can respond to your blogs or even share your blogs in other places. A lot of YouTubers do this. They pick up these blogs on news sites, or rather, they can be from your own site or WordPress, and see what people are talking about. I had a very funny website that I followed. It was just blogs. It was called Cracked, like Crack Your Head. Cracked was really funny, and they talk about a lot of pop culture. You can look it up. And of course, before there were others that I used to follow, but not so much now. And I just go to news sites most of the time, and I just look at memes. That's good enough for me. But it can also nurture social evangelists who pick up your topics. But beware that if someone is picking up your blog and sharing it here and there, there are ways to find out using tracking system and advertising system that will show you where you've been linked. There's something called hot linking, like really hot. Hot linking is when someone directly connects to your article, but not in a proper way. So they can put your article, the whole website or the web page, embedded into their website so you don't get the traffic, but people can still view it. So you have to be careful to disable hot linking. That option is allowed. You can look this up. Before, people used to do this with videos. For example, if you embed a video, that's fine because it's still going back to the actual website. But if you embed someone's website or content or web page, that's hot linking, and that's can also shut down your website because of consuming too much bandwidth. So some what do you call it? Web servers, they check for hot linking, and to block out people from downloading from external website. For example, let's say you put up an MP3 file or a podcast on your website, but someone linked it to their, directly from their website. That's hot linking. They should not do that. They first should send you to your website, and then where you can download from there. But so be careful about those things. Anywho, microblogging. Twitter. Twitter used to be microblogging, but I think because Donald Trump had so much to say, it's just blogging. But microblogging, it's ironically, Twitter is more, I would say, well suited. It's much more well suited for B2B business rather than B2C. The reason for that, a lot of consultants, a lot of workers who have they're self-employed people, and they're like in tech, if they're moving around, going to different seminars, they do a lot of tweeting, and they get good responses from the industry. So in a way, um, it's just reporting what's happening currently. So it's basically like news. It's like a ticker system. But you can communicate also with your customers about any small information that pops up. You don't have to create a big blog for it. It's just a tweet. It's there online. It also helps you raise your online profile, just like the others. But you once again be careful what you tweet out there. Everything nowadays is taken out of context. Someone said something 10 years ago, and they said, no, this is wrong. I would highly recommend, you don't have to play it politically safe, but if you got something to say, make sure you stand by it, I guess. But personally speaking, I don't use Twitter. It's used in some countries a lot, and people try to trace your tweet history, but they don't get that people change over time. But as a company, it could be interesting. Let's say if you have a new product coming out, so you can launch teasers. Hey, we got a new product coming out. Here's the video. Check it out. And this links to our other information. And of course, it can help generate traffic through your way. But there are so many other, I would say, avenues for creating, I would say, traffic. But Twitter, I think, is very popular in the US, maybe in Lebanon as well, also in my country. But I don't see it any being very popular in France. So we're almost done. You can go to sleep now if you want to, because I feel tired. I'm so exhausted. What do I feel like? I feel like eating a pizza. I haven't had a pizza in a long time. You know that? Even French fries. Jeez, this diet is killing me. Can you imagine eating healthy food is killing us? That's just stupid, right? But I believe it. Anyway, some strategies. A few things to note. Content seeding, putting your content in different places. So if, for example, you wrote a blog in LinkedIn, you can share that article on Facebook, you can share it as a tweet, you can share it in other platforms and link back to LinkedIn, and then which can also link back to your profile on your own page or so on your own website. Oh, that's my kid. He's going, ooh. Just in time, my son opened the door and started shouting, ooh, 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 and now he's dancing outside. Look at me, I don't know what he's saying. I think you guys can still hear him. Yep. Now he's excited. Before he was crying. Now he's happy because he had food. I think they had a pizza. Wow! Wait, they had pizza. I want pizza. I can't eat pizza. Anyway, so content seeding, I spoke about it. It's placing your messages or your branding content in different areas to send back traffic. Then there's also real-time marketing. Real-time marketing means you can interact with your customers whenever they're online. You can use even YouTube Live and Facebook Live. I'll try to do that experiment with you guys. When you go live, you can see the responses, the hearts popping up and likes popping up, or even dislikes, or that could be interesting. There's also video marketing. Video marketing is so big nowadays that instead of putting up articles, people use video content of 1 minute messages or 30-second messages because it creates better engagement. Then there's influencer marketing, which is simple. Finding, okay, there are two types of influencers. The one who is a real celebrity. The other one who are micro influencers. Micro influencers are highly concentrated in the industry. They don't really have to be celebrities, but they're well known in their, I would say, in their circle. They, it's very common for people in the, let's say, in the entertainment industry who, let's say, for example, fantasy novels or video gaming, they have a lot of micro influencers. But also in fashion and writing, recently, I think it was last year, this French blogger, I think he died in his apartment. It was like 2021, but he was a blogger. And a lot of fashionistas and even people in the fashion industry, they showed, their condolences because he was well revered. So even though he was a micro influencer, they had their niche. Then there's something called interactive blogs where you respond to maybe surveys and other questions when they ask you. This could be great. Now it's also available on YouTube. They have questions at the bottom after you show a video, or in between when you're scrolling that pops up if you're following that channel. And don't forget, you can even do keyword analysis. There are some tools that allow you to do when consumers give their review. You can generate the top number of words said, the top number of likes or dislikes happening. But this could be a little tough to go through if you're a big brand. You might get like 20, 30,000 comments, but you can pick up the initial ones and see how people are responding. And lastly, viral marketing. Do understand something about viral marketing. It doesn't happen on its own. There's always a source that's backing it up. Oh my God, my kids are noisy. Now do you know what I have to live with? Monkeys. Ooh, ooh. I'm one of them too. Anyways, we're done. I'm going to probably give you a small assignment after this, so stay tuned, and I wish you guys good luck. Ooh, look at this, a blank page. Anyways, bye bye. Have fun.